calling all my footy fans from all around the globe. Straight out of NYC, this is The Line Breaker.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Line Breaker. My name is Pano.
I'm Demetri, aka Juicy.
Why do you sound so depressed?
I'm not depressed.
Is it because your boy Marc-Andre Ter Stegen? Nah, this not wrong episode. Wrong episode. Hmm. Is it because your boys Arsenal didn't win the game? Is that why you're sad?
Who didn't win the game?
Your boys Arsenal.
Those aren't my boys.
You're a closet Arsenal fan.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
You definitely are. You told me in confidence.
What's up with you and Arsenal? Like they have like free real estate in your head. You keep bringing them up.
Mm,
Is it
no,
because
no, no,
is it
no.
because that they're grabbing at your feet for the biggest team in London title?
Definitely not. That was a big match this weekend, and it did include Arsenal, but it also included Manchester City.
Yes.
Yes, it did. Yes,
The
it did.
newborn rivalry in the Prem.
Newborn rivalry?
Yeah, I feel like in past years it didn't have like a lot of spice, like the title runs between City and Liverpool. But I feel like there's a certain edge to it this year that gives it that rivalry, you know? It's not really a rivalry if you're just beating out the other teams, but I think last year was like a little wake up call to City because they only won the league by 2 points. And I think this year City was acting very differently at times during the match, and I think it's now becoming a rivalry. They know it's gonna come down between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously they're the two best teams in England right now. Um, it's it's what it is. I mean, how about this? Let's take it from the top. Okay. Obviously, Erling Haaland opened the scoring very early. Um, in the ninth minute, doing what he does best, score goals.
Yep.
Um, but our boy Ricardo Calafiori,
Think you were hating on him, but anyway, yep.
I
Continue.
wasn't hating on him. I thought he was good during the Euros.
Listen, you say that last year during the Prem episodes, you were saying, "Oh, Serie A attacks. Oh, Arsenal have 8 center backs. They just sit back and
They do have
defend."
eight center backs.
But he did score a screamer.
He's very technical for a center back, but he's still a center back playing left back.
Yeah, but solid.
And they have like eight of them out there. You could argue Kai Havertz is a center back.
No.
Well, look, the thing that really changed, well, obviously after Calafiori's screamer, we had Gabriel score a big goal after, big
Yep.
header
Right, basically right before the halftime whistle.
right before halftime. Yeah, yeah.
But then there was another event right before the halftime whistle.
There was indeed another event, and that was, our boy,
Your boy,
my boy.
yeah, you're a closet Arsenal fan, but yeah, your boy,
That's not my boy.
your boy Trossard picking up a second yellow and being sent off.
He
Did
did.
did you
It
did you agree with that second yellow?
of course it did 100%.
I agreed as well. I think he has no business. He committed the foul. Okay, he has no business kicking the ball away
It's
or
it's dumb.
yeah, it really is dumb because at that point you think you defend just this set piece, the free kick that's probably gonna come into your 18, and then you're at halftime and that's it.
Yeah, and it's stupid too because, you know, you're up 2-1, and then you do like a boneheaded thing like that just to put your team on the back foot. Um, the team's already kind of, they're already missing guys like Odegaard, right? Odegaard wasn't able to play. Yeah, yeah, no, Odegaard wasn't playing.
There was a couple stars missing from both sides. De Bruyne wasn't playing either.
Oh, and how could we forget? Obviously, Rodri came out very early in the
Yeah, I
match.
did want to bring that up to you, but with Rodri's ACL injury being announced that he's out for the year now, do you think this? Because we both have Man City winning the Prem prior to this game. Do you
Hmm.
think that has an effect on their Premier League run this season because I think he's a very big piece in that midfield and for the whole team holding the team together. And I know he hasn't played much this season, and City have been fine, winning a bunch of games and still atop of the table. But going deep into the season, Champions League, Premier League games, you kind of need your rock in the midfield. Do you think the Rodri injury could set them back?
Um, I think it could, but I also think that like John Stones, I hope John Stones comes in and does the job. He's John Stones will probably wind up playing like center back now. I mean CDM now, and that's fine. He's no Rodri, of course, but he's gonna have to put that work in, or Kovacic for maybe the matches where I think Kovacic may be like the guy, or maybe they rock like a double pivot type thing with like Gundogan and Kovacic, like just especially against the smaller teams where they could kind of afford to be a little bit less, like sturdy in the midfield. Not that Kovacic isn't sturdy, but isn't Rodri like 6'5"? He's a beast. He's a big guy, Rodri.
I don't know if he's that big, but
I'm almost 100% sure he's 6'5".
he's 190 centimeters.
Rodri, Manchester
Don't
City.
have that in feet and inches.
Okay, 6'3".
Yeah, still a big
Still very
presence.
tall.
Yeah, big frame.
He's a big boy. But yeah. So Kovacic isn't quite 6'3", but he's still very mobile. He's press resistant. I think he'll do the job, and I think in big matches that's when we'll see like John Stones come in, kind of like what he did for this match. John Stones came in, he did the job.
Mhm.
Well, Kovacic also came in, I should say. Um, but I think John Stones will like be a big part of like the big matches. And yeah, I mean, look, is it a good situation for Manchester City? Absolutely not. Like not a good situation whatsoever. But at the same time, I mean, I think they'll make the most of it. I really do. I really like I genuinely think that they'll still be good enough to win. Um, and yeah. I,
I think it puts him in a difficult spot because think about it. De Bruyne is always hurt. Like he always has those. I don't think he can put like together a complete season of like injury free and
Mhm.
playing like like he playing all the games or playing a very solid amount of the games where Rodri last year was playing every game. Um, so if De Bruyne is having these injuries every now and then, you're missing your best attacking midfielder. Rodri's
Mhm.
gone. You're missing your best defensive midfielder. That's where the games can be won and lost there.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think it's gonna like I said, I think it's gonna be more important in the big matches.
Yeah.
Um, what I will say about this match though is that, Arsenal like to hold themselves high and mighty, but there's some interesting stats that we gathered from this game in
Uh,
regards to, free-flowing, heroic, tactical genius Arsenal. Arsenal put up point, at least according to FootMob, they put up 0.67 expected goals to Manchester City's 2.18. City peppered them 33 shots to 5.
if we get ready for this though, I have the second half stats up. You want to hear this?
Sure.
Expected goals for Arsenal in the second half, 0.07. City 1.4. Arsenal got one shot off in the second half. City got 28 shots in the second half.
And as we learned, Jurriën Timber and Kai Havertz they did not complete a single pass in the
Oh,
second half.
it says here on FOMOB that Timber completed one. I looked at that too, but
Okay, Timber
Kai
completed
Kai
one
Havertz was out
pass,
there doing cardio.
and
So
Kai Havertz didn't complete a single pass. But it doesn't matter. Timber was playing right back, right? If you're a defender and you haven't completed one pass, I mean, you and I know a lot about what players on the field make the most passes. I won't let the listeners know how we know so much about who makes the most passes on the field.
we were playing Haram ball back in the day.
But so we know what position makes the most passes usually, and defenders are very heavy usually in terms of passing because obviously they get the ball a lot. For
Defender
Jury and Timber
CDM.
to only have completed one pass, it's really, really bad.
And to think that the whole second half they were inside their own half, so you would feel like he'd be getting the ball a lot and finding a simple pass to play out the back.
anti-football. I don't know about you. Even if you're a man down, this doesn't exactly sound like something that, true title contenders do. Say what you want about Liverpool, man, but Liverpool, when they're really competing for titles, when they were the second team with City, they were never afraid of anyone. I don't know how many times they went down to 10 men, but I know for a fact Klopp doesn't do that sit back ball. Doesn't matter if he's a man down. Klopp goes in, he goes hard. And you know what? Klopp actually won a Premier League title. So I don't know. There's a lot of anti-football, and you know what I'm noticing on football Twitter now that people are starting to catch on that like Arteta's Arsenal isn't exactly the beautiful, free-flowing Pep Guardiola influenced team that, the reputation the media likes to have us believe. Bro, I think Mikel Arteta was more influenced by his more longtime manager than he was by Pep Guardiola. You know who Mikel Arteta was managed for most of his Premier League career?
Who's that?
David Moyes at Everton. I think he's a lot more influenced by Moyes or Mourinho. My little tweet that I made was that this Arsenal team, they can't even do the park the bus Mourinho gimmick the right way because Mourinho parks that bus and he wins the game. They couldn't hold on. And they could not hold on as I kind of alluded to before because in the 98th minute, Big John Stones comes in and finishes from inside the box. Well placed finish. And Erling Haaland dunks on Gabriel's head with the ball. Not dunks, but he chucks the ball at his head. Hilarious.
Yeah, he went
Holland,
crazy after that.
Holland wanted to smoke the whole, bro. The end of that game, then after the game, Holland wanted to smoke. Went up to Arteta. He told him to stay humble. He went up to Gabriel Jesus and he's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Don't talk to me. Why are you talking to me?"
Yeah,
Like,
he ran into Partey after the kickoff after the equalizer.
yeah, but we could say that, you know, you know, Party deserved it for obvious reasons.
But yeah, the
I'm still
whole
trying to figure out why he can't go to Spain. But anyway,
the whole throwing the ball at Gabriel's head is crazy. That was nuts.
it was hilarious. It's doing the rounds, and honestly, I'm so happy that Twitter's just catching on to this, just
I'm
because
I'm happy that there wasn't like an overreaction by the referee. And like I don't know if the referee saw it, but I think this makes the next time they play each other even like spicier and better. And like this is what like this is what I'm talking about. Like these little moments, these little jabs at each other is really what's gonna make this like a rivalry this season. And we're gonna see like back and forth. Because although, let's look long term. Although Arsenal, the game kind of slipped away. They were playing a whole half down a man, but they still got a point out of going away to City, and they're still within a game. Obviously, it's a long season. Rodri's out, like as we mentioned, and I think if their cards fall down and like in place perfectly, if you're within 3 points and you have to play City at home, you gotta go for it. That's what you gotta ask for. You wanna have an opportunity, and I think Arsenal, as long as they stay close, they gave themselves an opportunity. But now they just got to go out and win, the other games and handle business. But this game has its bright spots for Arsenal and also its not so bright spots.
look, either way, big implications for the title race, like you said. Arsenal still within two of City. Um, we're only 5 games in, so really, like, how much could it really have done for the title race? But when we're talking about two teams that were so close last year, and really the difference was it was 2 points last year. Every single game counts. There's no, especially in the Premier League, like there's no games where you can kind of like take a step back, and just kind of cruise through. There really is no such thing as those games because every single game is so pivotal. You can't slip up. You legitimately cannot slip up. I'm pretty sure Arsenal, did they lose it? Did they not even lose a single game um in the second half of last season? And it was mostly just dropped points like draws and stuff, and that's how they lost the title.
That
Either
sounds
way,
about right.
yeah,
They did have, I think they had a good amount of draws. Let me
yeah,
confirm
a
that.
lot, a lot of draws, just like they're invincibles. But anyway, so yeah, look,
Actually, City last year, City had two more draws than them, but Arsenal had two more losses.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Okay. Um, but look, so every game's gonna count. Um, who would you say is probably the most happy with this result in the end? It's probably Arsenal, right? That they got away with it a little bit.
Um, I think they did get away with it because when I did see Martinelli get sent off. No, sorry, Trossard. When I saw
Hmm.
Trossard get sent off, I thought City were gonna just, I expected City to pepper their net, and they did, and I expected to get see more goals, but they were only to get one at the very end to steal a point. Um, but I feel like both managers feel like they could have done better, but also like they just like there's negatives on both sides for Man City and Arsenal because I feel like if you're City, you're playing a whole half up a man and you can't get two goals and you're like putting 28 shots together in a half. But then again, you're playing without De Bruyne and now it's unfortunate that Rodri's out. But same thing with Arsenal, you were playing well up 2-1 without Odegaard in the first half. That red card kills you. Going
A
into the
hundred.
going into the locker room at halftime up 2-1 is a huge like momentum psychologically. And then just getting a red is just devastating. You go into the locker room and it's like you're going to be in it 45 minutes defending now the whole second half, which was the case. I think
Yeah, and
the biggest winner from this matchup in my opinion was Liverpool.
I would say so. I would say so, or maybe since we know who my predictions are, maybe this is a big result for Chelsea.
That them too.
Um, look, I think at the end of the day, I think that that's a really, really good point. That this is probably a bigger result for the other clubs than it is for them. Like, if anything, this is a missed opportunity for both sides. There's
Yeah.
no early like true advantage by both sides just from a draw. And just taking this into account, speaking of, not a big advantage right now, helping others out. With this result, um, this puts the top five as follows. Or, I'll say the top six. It's Manchester City in first with 13 points, Liverpool in second with 12 points, Aston Villa in third with 12 points, continuing their strong start. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Arsenal in fourth with 11 points, Chelsea in fifth with 10 points, and Newcastle in sixth with 10 points. If the result goes either way for one of these teams, it's either if City wins, they're in first place, they have 15 points. They're already 3 points a whole game ahead of second place. If Arsenal wins, they're first place with 14 points.
13,
They
13.
13 points. Again, over Liverpool, and is a three-way tie in second. Obviously, goal differential removes that, but between Liverpool, City, and Aston Villa.
But yeah, it's tight up there. The top six teams are all within a game, all within 3 points of each other.
Yep, they're all with exact. Well, yeah, they're
Yeah,
all.
they
You're
all
right.
are.
You're right. All within 3 points of each other. You're right. You're right.
I'm
I
always
was
right.
looking at Brighton for a second because Brighton is seventh, and so is Nottingham. Nottingham Forest is eighth. They both have nine
Speaking of
points.
speaking of the two teams that you just mentioned, little fun fact: Brighton played Nottingham Forest over the weekend too, and they
Mm-hmm.
had a 2-2 draw. Little fun fact for you: the four teams that have yet to lose in the Prem: City, Arsenal, Brighton, Nottingham Forest.
Yep. There you go. Look, Brighton are an exciting team again this year. Uh, I I think they'll do better than last year. They couldn't, excuse me, they couldn't do much worse than they did last year. Their new coach, don't ask me to pronounce his name. Uh, Sebastian, I don't know.
They also they also finished out they
Herzler,
finished
Herzler.
they
Oh,
finished they finished 11th place last year,
it's
so
not Sebastian, it's Fabian. Sorry, Fabian.
there's no they don't have any European competitions this year, whereas last season they were in the Europa League.
Mm-hmm.
So that might have had an impact on why they fell off in the Prem last
Yeah.
season.
Nope, very true.
Um but yeah, we we do expect to see a stronger Brighton side throughout the season, and should see a nice little bounce back. But the team that I'm most impressed with in the Premier League so far, I think is Liverpool. You know, the new managerial change. Everybody had questions. You know, Klopp is leaving. Here comes Slot. Is he gonna bring the same kind of football? Is he gonna get the results? And you know, he did have one letdown this season. Uh, but listen, after 5 games, scoring 10 goals and conceding only one, you got to be happy. The only loss he had was to Nottingham Forest, and they were home, which is a little tough to stomach if you're a Liverpool supporter. But overall, you know, you're still in second place, and you got to like where you are. You know,
Forest have been good this year, man. They haven't been an easy they haven't been an easy match so far. As we know, they're undefeated. Um, but what was I gonna say? I totally blanked there for a second. A lot of people had Forest as their relegation candidates for this year, interestingly.
to be honest,
Um,
I think if we had made an episode for relegation, I think I would have put them there too.
we should probably do that at some point. We should probably do that maybe this weekend or something. We'll do that. Maybe after this fixture, we'll do a way too early predictions for
Oh, I'm
that.
not I'm not gonna say Forest now. But
Hey,
prior to the season, I thought they can have it. I think they escaped last season,
y
but
y you know what I
yeah, they're
will
looking
say?
they're looking good this season.
You know what I will say though is that remember last year you picked Everton to get relegated, right? That was one of your hot takes.
Yeah.
Um, I picked Wolverhampton Wanderers to get
Yes.
relegated. That was like one of my crazy hot takes. And
Yes.
right now, they're 19 and 20, and neither of them have won a game.
We were just too early. We were just too early.
I believe the Premier League is the only league in the world right now where the bottom 6 teams have not won a game. I think that's it. The the bottom 6 teams have not won a single game.
Listen, when you're bad, you're bad.
Yep. The
Yeah.
Barclays Farmers League.
Yeah, awful. Oh, also another talking point, and I saw Ange Postecoglou getting a lot of heat for the style of football he plays. Although he was able to beat Brentford over the weekend 3-1.
It didn't start well though for them. They went
Yeah,
down 1-0 early.
the last five the 5 matches in the Prem, his last five, draw, 2 wins, 2 losses. So I mean they're people are saying that he doesn't change his tactics and he always plays very open even when he's up late in games and he doesn't like close down or like play a little more defensively. He just stays open, which has led him to drop let Tottenham to drop points and also lose a couple of games. Do you think he might be on the hot seat, might be sacked before I guess the new year? Little timeline for you, little question.
Postecoglou? I don't think so. They put up 3.5 XG against Brentford. That's kind of crazy. Um, it's a lot. Wow. 3.5 XG? Sheesh. Um, no, I don't think he gets sacked. I think Ten Hag gets sacked first.
Actually, let me see. Let me just confirm this. Okay, so two out of the three results that Tottenham has gotten, one of them was against winless Everton, second game of the
Hmm.
season. The other one was a draw against Leicester, another winless team. So he's beaten Brentford 3-1 and then he's lost the other two to Newcastle and Arsenal. But
Brentford's not a bad team though.
they're not, but I'm saying the first two results though is uh
Yeah, but
sorry, not the first two,
uh,
but two of them. Yeah, the first two.
Tottenham historically they're not really known for like just firing managers just like for nothing, although they haven't really been good with keeping their managers as of late. I think they'll stick with Postecoglou at least till the end of the year. Maybe they'll fire him at the end of the year, but I feel
You
like
don't see any mid-year firings for Tottenham?
nah, not for Tottenham. I think Ten Hag doesn't make it to Christmas though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess that's a good segue, right?
That is
Manchester
good.
United 0, Crystal Palace 0. A bore fest. Manchester United not getting the job done again. Um, clearly, Crystal Palace isn't that easy of a game, huh? Right, Chelsea? It was a pretty even game, 1 XG to 1.7 XG, pretty actually, kind of even-ish. Uh, how many big chances? Three big chances to Crystal Palace to five big chances for Man U. 15 shots on target for Man U, nine shots on target for Palace. I know I'm just reading off the stats right now, but a pretty drab affair in the end, 0-0, 0-0 draw. Um, I mean, honestly, it's just another not so great result for Manchester United.
Yeah, I feel, and like looking at the lineup, they have the talent, they have the players to go out and dominate games like this, but they've been struggling. They're just this season they've been coming out and just dominating games or just being dominated. I feel like there's no real in between except for like this match. It's very you don't know what Manchester United you're gonna get. There's no consistency, I feel.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you kind of said it like, yeah, it was kind of a drab affair, and the names tell you, or the names that the teams had make you think, oh, maybe they should have played better. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's they're just names, right? And obviously these names aren't performing right now. Bruno Fernandes, it almost felt like he was by himself. I know Ahmad Traore is supposed to be very good. Alejandro Garnacho is highly rated. Some people rate Xerxes. I don't necessarily rate Xerxes. Um, but at the end of the day, they're not getting the job done. They're really not. This Crystal Palace team is not great. This is an Olise-less Crystal Palace, and they still couldn't get the job done.
And I think I said it from last season. I think Ten Hag should have been let go last season
I
and
do
sacked.
too.
But I think the FA Cup win was personally I think it was BS. Like I think that was just a cover up for him to just stay another season. But I still think he should have lost his job even despite winning the FA Cup. I think I think the way he finished the season eighth place is just horrible. If you're Man U and you're finishing in eighth place, there's nothing to be proud about. And
And remember, the expected points put them at like 15th.
yeah, it was
That's really bad.
not a good season. I think he got bailed out by the FA Cup win, and I don't know why they brought him back, but I think that was just I could see him being fired before Christmas, like you mentioned.
I think
Things
he goes before Christmas. I have this sneaking suspicion that they bring in a guy like Thomas Tuchel.
I think the woes just continue from last season, and there's nothing going right for them at this moment.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough. Overall, I just we're talking about Manchester United, like the biggest club in England. I don't care what anybody says. I'm a Chelsea fan. Like, I know they are the biggest club in England, and they have not played like that thus far. They really haven't. So, it's a shame. It's fun to make memes about them and stuff like that, but they're not performing right now. It's, just another snooze fest for them. Um, but that was from a drab affair to shall I go into it to a good affair?
Yeah, go into it.
You know, a big reason why Chelsea are fifth place right now is another win for Enzo Maresca's men. 3-0 to the boys. Two quick goals from Nicholas Jackson. Followed by a second half goal right away by Cole Palmer.
He's been
Was the difference
he's been finding the back of the net. Yeah, he's the
Jackson or
leading
Palmer?
both, but mostly Nicholas Jackson really coming alive lately. He leads
Yep,
he leads Chelsea in goals scored this season,
he does. He does
and
indeed.
he's tied for first with Cole Palmer in goals and assists at 6.
Yeah, and he's firing. He's already up on the amount of goals that he had around at this point last year. So that's a good sign. And Chelsea are already up on the amount of points that they had last year. I believe they have double. I believe last year they had 5 after 5 games. This year they have 10. So hey, I'll take that.
And I think that's big for Nicholas Jackson for his confidence and for Chelsea in general that he could start scoring because I think last season we saw him put himself into good positions. He was able to dribble past players. He was able to do it all, but he just didn't have the finished product. And now that he's putting balls in the back of the net, I think it's going to benefit Chelsea. And it's going to give the player more confidence, and we're going to see a better Chelsea side with a more confident striker who's going to be able to get those goals. And obviously, you can't say that there's no support behind him because there's a lot of delivery and stuff. But from Sancho, Palmer, Madueke, and I think he's going to get those deliveries, but he's got to put in the back of the net, which he has this season. And that's why we've seen an improved Chelsea. I think he plays a big part in that.
Yeah, and look, I feel like a lot is said about Nicholas Jackson, like, oh, he's bringing things together. It's easy to forget that he scored 14 Premier League goals last year, so he's not exactly a bum. I feel like people make him out to be this like sort of flop. Chelsea bought him for 30 million pounds last summer, which is really nothing in today's market.
Nothing in terms of Chelsea standard either.
Yeah, but also in terms of Premier League standard, really nothing. Especially when you factor in the fact that Manchester United paid 75 million for Rasmus Højlund and he's not even their starting striker. But that's a conversation for another day. In that same summer they bought him for that fee. But anyway, 14 Premier League goals in your first season as a 22-year-old. Lest we forget he's 22 years old only. I know he looks older, but he's only 22. Is a pretty good return. The last player to do that for Chelsea, I believe, was who to put up as many goals as that was Tammy Abraham. And Tammy Abraham did that in 1920, I believe. I'm gonna fact check myself about that right now. Yes, it was 1920. He was the last player to put up at least 14 goals. He put up 15 Premier League goals in 2019, 2020. And he put up 18 goals in all competitions. Nicholas Jackson also put up 18 goals in all competitions last season. So that's the last time. That was 4 years ago, a long time ago. So Chelsea they haven't exactly been blessed. I'm sorry. I'm going to correct myself. Nicholas Jackson put up 17 goals in all competitions last year. So, Chelsea aren't exactly blessed over the last, 3-4 years with consistent goal scoring from their forwards. Obviously, Cole Palmer had a monster season last year. That kind of overshadowed things, but Nicholas Jackson was decent too. Um, that was definitely short story long. I think another good win for Enzo Maresca's men. They had to really scrape through the win against Bournemouth. Uh, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, they had to really scrape through that match. Today, or not today, but this past weekend, they had a more comfortable result. West Ham didn't seem up for it. It's not looking great for West Ham. West Ham are one of the teams that have been pretty poor this year, especially for their standards. So yeah, West Ham right now expected points. They're 14th, but expected points puts them at 17th. So not great. West Ham are not looking good. Julian Lopetegui, his team is not looking too good right now. But again, another win for Chelsea. But there's tougher fixtures to come ahead for them. There's still a lot of question marks about Enzo Maresca from other people. I'm happy with what I'm seeing so far. Obviously, the result after I predicted that Chelsea were going to finish third, them winning the day after is great, but still plenty of football left to go. We got 33 games left. So, you know, that that's that. I don't want to talk too much about Chelsea because we do have to quickly get through the remaining matches. Just to quickly skim through some things, we had Leicester City versus Everton. Leicester were able to salvage a point. Liverpool 3-0 on Bournemouth. Cruise control for Liverpool 3-0. Kepa in goal for Bournemouth. So what do you expect? Fulham with a shock result against Newcastle United. They stunned them. Big performance from Fulham. Newcastle looking shaky. Aston Villa and Wolves. Big Colombian Jean Duran with another goal against Wolves. We said it before, Wolves are struggling.
Yeah.
Wolves are really struggling. We spoke about Brighton and Nottingham Forest.
Yep.
Pretty sure that's it. I love how I just like rushed through that.
Southampton,
We don't
Ipswich.
care. What's that?
Southampton, Ipswich. Did you mention that?
Oh, another one I just tell you. Wow, Pano just doesn't care about the newly promoted teams, huh? Doesn't care. Yeah, that game too, 1-1. So, as things
Yeah,
stand,
I think the biggest shock this weekend was Fulham 3-1 over Newcastle. But other than that, pretty solid, nothing crazy.
yeah, no, I would say so. And the Fulham Newcastle result in particular, I was pretty surprised. Look, I was happy about it, right? I was pretty surprised. Um, but at the same time, Newcastle dropping some points is only good for Chelsea. But I don't suspect, as we said in our predictions, I don't really suspect Newcastle to be a big threat.
I do. I do.
I know you do, but I don't. Um, so yeah, big goals from Jimenez. Smith Rowe feels like he's gonna wind up being a very strong signing for them. Um, Same thing with Reece Nelson, another goal. So two Arsenal products really helping out Fulham. So yeah, no, it's looking good for Fulham right now. Um, do you have any other closing thoughts for this week?
Um, no closing thoughts, but I think it's going to be an exciting title race this season.
I think so too. So that was our little recap of game week 5. My name is Pano,
I'm Demetri, aka Juicy.
and we're out of here.